Welcome to Coffee Talk, episode 41, guys, with Sunny and Chief. Happy Saturday. Wow. How are we all doing? Hey, Chief.
Happy Saturday. What a
Welcome in.
what a chaotic morning. Oh my gosh. It was so hard. Technology. You know,
Yes.
I was in IT for the past like 30 years. Okay. I was an IT chief, retired Navy. And then after the Navy, I was an IT manager. And what I'm here to tell you is IT always be messed up.
For real. We both had a bout of that this morning. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Coffee Talk, episode 41 with Sunny and Chief. I'm so excited to actually say that 41 episodes with you, Chief. It's been amazing having coffee with you on Saturday and having coffee with so many who gather with us. If you're joining us here on the YouTube channel, welcome in. Please feel free to check out our other Coffee Talks. They are uploaded for your viewing. They usually run anywhere from an hour, half hour, 45 minutes. Keeping it real with all of you, real conversations. As Sunny always does, we do a mini recap and we kind of take it from last night's live, which is a live that's aired on our TikTok platform. It's my Veterans Live every Friday night with our veterans and civilian friends gathering. And we're going to kick it off a little bit and just talk about what the theme was last night on our live. Um, across the board, it was wellness, mental health, and that's kind of the theme today, Chief. What do you think?
I agree. And so many people getting stuff done and coming together, getting help from
Absolutely.
others. So it sounded like a really productive week for a lot of folks. I know it was certainly busy here and on your end of the spectrum too. So you.
Most certainly. So, what I will say is, when we talk about healing, for instance, which is such a taboo word on TikTok, right? Sunny's super shadow banned on her TikTok platform for speaking of healing and looking for alternative modalities of healing when your common one, known to most, is just therapy. Therapy alone is wonderful. Not enough. Not enough because when do you get to go to counseling, for instance? Once a month? If you're lucky, maybe twice a month. What do you do the other 29 or 30 days out of the month? And that's something that both myself and 420 Chief talk about quite frequently, whether it be on my platform, his platform. And that's kind of where I want to expand this conversation because it's so imperative. It's so imperative to recognize that our mental health is being challenged. And last night on our live, we were kind of it was like a check in live with our veteran and our civilian friends because everyone, and I'm going to say this again, everyone's mental health is constantly being challenged every single day, just like it was this morning when we're having tech issues, right? Everything. From the time you get up, your coffee's not ready, the coffee pot broke, technology, your car, a flat tire, whatever the case is. What do you do with all that energy? We're like a soda can. You can either keep bottling it up or find ways to release that energy in a more therapeutic way that kind of recharges, resets your mental health. And we don't talk about this enough, but I'm here to tell you that we have a mental health crisis on our hands. Sunny planks it out every single day with all of you, raising awareness to mental health and 22 and 22 a day. Actually, that's what my shirt says. Ask me about 22, which will always be at the forefront of both myself and Chief as we raise awareness to mental health and the veteran suicide crisis. Um, so I want to kind of break it up a little bit, Chief, and talk about the whole approach, whole healing approach to the person, mind, body, soul, physical. It's all of it. And some of the things that we heard just our friends say last night, our veterans that came into the boxes. And I was so proud that they recognized that we were all running like on a high temperature of emotions based on what's happening, the chaos that's happening in our country and what they do, like what steps they took for healing for themselves.
Well, that was a lot. We covered quite a bit there, but go back to why support matters and why having a tribe and picking the people around you is important. Um, that helps you prevent isolation. You know, you don't want to be sitting in the shit with people who are just going to sit there and not try to get you out. You know, I don't want somebody to climb in the hole and stay in the hole with. I want somebody to climb in the hole, say, I've been in this hole. Let's get out of here. And so I think that's the importance of finding, that tribe, those peers, and it's important for us to be vulnerable enough to admit what we're going through and kind of talk about it. You don't have to get into all of the details, I don't believe, but I think it's important to share what's going on, and so other people can help understand better, um, and help you climb out of that. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. And you went into the different forms of healing, and oh my goodness, that's not a. There's so many. There are so many, and this one is a kind of a fun topic, if you ask me. Because when I think about it, there's different times of the day I do different things, whether that's hiking with the dogs, playing disc golf or throwing the frisbee. We demonstrate music as therapy, just vibing out. Oftentimes, we'll get Brother Rob in the box and have a fire, and in real life, that's another way that I've used as therapy, just
Mhm.
sitting with the flames. Um, when I come to visit you and we take road trips, the pavement therapy, oftentimes just being out on the road. Motorcycles are a great one. But then when I get to you, we like to disappear out into the woods and become balanced in nature, and do some primitive camping. That's just so refreshing, and it helps us to relax from such a chaotic time that we live in, because there's so much going on, over inundating us in the news. But then we've got our home lives that everybody's talking about. We're doing homesteading. um, I'm s We've got a nonprofit going on. That's a lot of interviews, a lot of talking to people. It's nonstop. So it's important to make time in any one of these modalities that work for you. And I like to think of them as fun because when I was young, you think of yourself as a kid. What did you like to do when you were young? Did you like to ride your bike? What's fun for you? What relaxes you?
Absolutely. Perfectly said. Absolutely. Getting back to some of those areas of in our life because we've gotten so busy, whether it's with family, kids, work, you name it, the chaos. It's just a chaotic world that we're living in. And so many things are constantly happening that we don't really have time to process and reset. And it's so important to make time to reset. You know, last night, when you were talking about community, such an important piece, community, that peer support, that feeling like I'm not alone. We're all going through this. Let's breathe together. Breathing, guys, that's another one. Learn how to breathe. That's so hard for some, especially when our anxiety is really high. It's kind of hard when someone says, hey, stop and breathe. It's like, I don't want to breathe right now. You're just so tense from the emotion that's running through you, like I was a little bit earlier with the
Yeah.
technology.
I just
I
want to
don't like that word.
I want to breathe. I want to throw this through the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah. I actually said I want to take a hammer to it, but I left it alone. I walked away. But yeah, nature, guys, nature, grounding, gardening, hiking, taking your bike for a ride, taking the car for a ride, guys. I shared with y'all not too long ago how some of my own reset after my workday is taking the long way home. And that's the truth. I have actually appreciated that more than ever. I have a very stressful job, high demand job. So I'm very much on that level of like, whoo, lots of anxiety running through me. And I take the long way home so I can actually have the silence of the trees that surround my vehicle as I'm driving home. I'm processing thoughts. So when I do reach home, I'm in a different place than when I left. We're always in such a rush that we have to start practicing how to slow down. And that's one way. Journaling. Are you journaling your thoughts? We have some friends last night, Chief, that were sharing some of the things they did this week, and it was really awesome to listen to.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa,
I didn't
Chief
know I could
touched
do that.
buttons.
I have buttons again. Um, I did the music live the other night, and we had, Dustin came in, and he was cutting rocks, geodes,
Yeah,
coral, 3,000,000-year-old coral, and it's so fascinating because everybody who's watching is like, in suspense, like, what's this one gonna look like on the inside? Because you never know. You really
right.
do. You really do never know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a valuable lesson in what he does there. I loved your music live. Let's talk about music for a minute. Music can be so therapeutic if it's used properly, to release emotions, just to unwind, whatever you want to do. The other day I was feeling a little high strung and specific music I could not listen to. That's just the truth. We got to be in a certain state of mind to listen to specific kind of music. And you had a vibe going. And then it was like magic. And then here comes Dustin, and you put him up on the screen, and he shares this, and we're all just like, we all needed that. And I was so grateful for that. But what I recognized at 9:30 p.m. at night after a full day of work, it energized me. I'm cleaning while I'm listening to your music live, where I questioned myself. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I cleaning? And I kept looking for things to clean. So I'm super grateful about your Vibing with Chief evenings. If you want to tune in on his TikTok platform, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. I plug it in because it's needed for you guys. I'm just telling you that. You need to tune in. It's amazing. We all feel great, but um, the other piece that I take away is it's an opportunity for us to come together with some friends and lean into each other, especially when we're checking in on each other, as we always do when we go live. How you doing? How was your week? Where are you at? 1 to 10. We talk a lot about checking in on our friends, especially when there's so much chaos going on in the world. And I was super grateful, even having some of my friends check on me as current events are happening around us, just to say, "Hey, how you doing, sis?" I'm super grateful for that because I check on others as well. And, you know, I really wanted to focus on the different modalities because I want every single viewer who's tapping in today to listen to us to ask yourself, what are you doing for you? Like Chief said, are you taking that bike ride? What are you doing for you? Have you answered that question? What does that look like? Is it once a month? Is it once a week? How long are you doing it for? Have you found benefit in it? It's that personal self assessment.
Yeah. Lots of modalities and music, like you'd mentioned, you alluded to that, is an easy one because music is a connector. I can if I hear a song and someone else is around, it's an easy conversation starter. It's an easy way to get people to open up, to get people to, to vibe out. And if they need to, it's easy to open up and talk about. So oftentimes a song will come on and people will tell a story of when they saw them in concert or they met a person from that band, and it takes them back. Because music is one of those things that it can really just transcend us to a different place in time. But I think
Most certainly.
how we spend our time is important, with replacing destructive time with valuable time, that
Hmm.
I think the importance of what we do throughout the day. And we're not on TikTok right now, so we can talk about the different modalities. I think for me, aside from the music, I do use cannabis as one of those methods to help calm down because I know that I can get instant relief from the stress, and I'm aware of that. So rather than just forget about it, I work through it with the usage of cannabis. So I'm not ignoring the situation. I didn't ignore that my camera charger thingy had broke this morning, but I didn't break anything. I calmed down, took a breath, and took a hit of cannabis and thought it out like, what do I do? What can I do? And realized I've got like three of these things. Two of them are broken, but there was one other one. So I was able to call Bub and work through it. I think the problem sets in and with cannabis specifically for people is when you're not using it to overcome, but yet cope, to put a situation off and not work through it. I think the difference in healing is when you're aware of that and you're able to apply it to help you in such a way to work through it. And that can be mental, or that could also be physical pain. So you talk about this oftentimes with your
Hmm.
pain or whatever. It's things like that can really get us out of the groove. And it sounds easy to say, have an amazing day and do something for you, but it's really hard to do that when you're in a serious amount of pain. And so for myself, the cannabis helps. The topicals really do help. Um, Knees, my back and hips, elbows, arthritis, funny pain in my thumb now. It's like on a spring in there. So,
Aging.
Yeah, but not just even with cannabis, I think we oftentimes we're talking about doing little things like taking a hike or going kayaking or going to the beach or cutting geodes that help us for, you know, our moments, our mindful moments, but we also have to take those deeper dives and work through things to get to healing, to heal ourselves. And I think that is when alternative modalities come into play, such as psilocybin. Cannabis can be used as that. Um, Even meditation is a good one. Hypnosis, sound therapy, sound bowls, gongs, frequency healing, you name it. All of it is very similar in the aspect that it gets you into that mind state, that beta state to where you're able to process the traumas and work through it where you're not so attached to it. And I think it's
Hmm.
what it boils down to. And for people like myself, I know just getting out of service and coming down off of prescriptions and alcohol, it was hard for me to calm those thoughts just through meditation alone. I really did try really hard and I just couldn't do it without the help of something else. And I'm proud to say that I can sit down and just breathe and meditate now and realize that they're just thoughts, but it took a lot of practice and it took a lot of work, but more important than anything with any modality is you have to be have that self-awareness to realize what's going on. You have to have that self-awareness to realize what you need to focus on, and that's how we improve. So just sitting with yourself and thinking about what could I do better and taking action on that is oftentimes the hardest. And it sounded like just from our veteran life this last week, a lot of folks said, F it. It's time to get up and take action
Yeah.
and get some work in. So I know I covered a lot there, but we did talk a little bit about modalities, and modalities can be used in lots of different ways, and there's lots of different modalities for everyone.
So if you're new to this page, this is a judgment-free zone. We have open conversation because that's what it should look like. Um, Sunny has always been open-minded to wanting to learn more. What works for you? So we can share that because sharing is caring. If we don't know, then we'll never know. And it's so imperative that we share these stories. As you know, both myself and Chief share our stories on our podcast, which is here on our YouTube channel, interviewing our veterans to get their stories out because they're so valuable. It's important for them to share their story with someone else, and it's important at the receiving end. Now, as far as myself, I don't consume, as you know, so I have to search for other alternative methods to help with either calming down from a stressful week. Like I had said earlier to Chief, I said, I am definitely hitting the water when I'm done with this live because this morning's technology had me so stressed out. And I said, I cannot wait. So that's at the forefront of the things that I need to do for myself to kind of reset and recharge myself from where I started to where I got with anxiety of trying to make things work. And that happens to all of us. But whether it be hitting the water because I can't wait to get on that kayak or sitting at the water's edge and grounding myself and just doing a little breathing, and then, of course, I already have my afternoon plan. We're going apple picking with my daughter. So I'm super excited about that as well, a little family time. There's so many things that we can do for ourselves. But, if you've gotten to know myself and if you've gotten to know Chief, then you also know that we're here and we're breaking stigmas. The stigmas are surrounding conversations that you may not be familiar with or you yourself have gotten used to judging. Those are stigmas and they're preventing healing for so many. So we need to come together and start listening more and understanding that what may not work for you is working for someone else. And we should be cheerleaders for those people and listen to them, listen to learn. And that's where I am in my life. I listen to learn because at the end of the day, I want to hear that someone is healing. How they do it, it's working for them. I will be that cheerleader and say, I'm happy that you found this because at the end of the day, end 22, right? Isn't that what we want? We want
Oh,
to
yeah.
end 22.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing happens by accident. If you want something to happen, you gotta see it, and then you have to believe in it, and then you gotta
Yeah.
put it into words, and, 4 points, I believe, in the comment said, "Put it out to the world," and I think that's true. I think you speak it out loud, you claim it, and that helps, make it happen. Um, you gotta plan too, you know what I mean? You gotta have your goals, talk about your goals, and then check in on them. Though. You have to check in on those
Hmm.
goals, and when you talk about things, especially with a good tribe, they're gonna help hold you accountable, and that kinda it makes it real for you, it makes it real for them, but, um, people now know kinda what you're aiming for, and that keeps things moving. They'll never know the amount of work you put in,
Right.
um, behind the scenes, but, um, you
I
have to
agree.
you have to take action, even if it's just you wanna heal, you gotta do something. You have to go to therapy, you have to go to the gym, you have to start the diet, you have to show up, you know, and
Hmm.
and put it into practice.
Last night, one of the pieces that I took away was how many were excited to share what they were doing all week, whether it was I went for a walk or even hearing Frizz. I felt a certain way. I got off the couch, I stopped listening to the news, and I went for a walk with my dog. Just hearing all of that makes me happy, so happy, because I don't want to see my friends sitting on a couch with a tube on. That's just poison for the mind. You're not going to move in the direction of healing at that point. We're just going to stay stagnant and it's toxic. Somebody had said to me, I think it was this week or last week, I just turned the tube on and I'm like, I don't even have cable. I don't turn the tube on. But you do still live in a society where conversations are held. So protect your peace as well. I don't need to turn the tube on to know what's going on in the world. We're going to hear about it. So I don't add any extra to myself, to my mind, because it's overwhelming. But I think about those individuals who don't get off the couch, are not doing anything to move the dial into that healing journey. And then all they do is listen to the news and it's on repeat. Guys, I'm here to tell you your mental health is going to be severely affected by that. Whether it's something we've shared here on the live, like, yeah, are you gardening, or what's your interest? What's your special interest? Is it cutting geodes? Is it going for a walk? Whatever it is it music? Do that thing. Do that because that's what's working for you. And life is a balance. Look, let's be real. Life is a balance. You got to balance it out. Stay in tune, like Chief said. You definitely have to check in with yourself to see, like, hey, am I meeting my goals, my own personal expectations, not the expectations others put on you, but your personal expectations. If you said, I'd like to get this done by end of week, did you even start? What does that look like for you? Hold yourself accountable because personal accountability is very important.
Yes, it is, and sharing your story helps other people realize that they're not alone. That storytelling, sharing stories actually helps bridge the gap between people, not just
Most
veterans,
certainly.
civilians, but people.
Yeah.
So I find it fascinating. So oftentimes people don't want to tell their stories because they feel like, well, so and so has a better story or experience more, and that's not always the case. That might be, but that other person has somebody on their mind the same way. But when I find we start talking about what we're going through, what we're having problems with, we find solutions or we help others with it.
Hmm.
And
Most certainly.
I went on a field trip yesterday, and I went to visit Grandpa's family farms here in Missouri, Shamu, Missouri, Gasconade River country. And I learned so much from these gentlemen. They've been farming out there for years, 11,000 plants. But what I realized in story after story from coming from these guys was they were pioneers in the industry. There's no standard operating procedure, there's no instruction manual on how to proceed. And that's how it is. The truth be told, when we are out here being ourselves, especially if you're in your own business, you're more than likely successful because you're doing things your way, not because you're doing it the other way. But listening to them, it was just a story after story of overcoming. You have to figure it out to keep going and move forward. It's never impossible, no matter when it came to harvesting 11,000 crops and it was just two guys, they realized we got to figure out something with our tractor. We're going to have to hire in some people. We're going to need a lot of help. So, even with space, they overcame just by figuring it out. Life's a lesson. Have fun with it, but you're not alone. Reach out for help. There are people who have maybe been through a similar situation and can give you some solid advice or even some solid resources to save you
Hmm.
time, stress, energy, all those things. So the more you talk about it with the right people, the more um, confidence, help, less stress you have to really go through alone, anyways.
Absolutely. Life does not come with a guide, that's for sure. We don't get to go pick it up at Barnes and Nobles. So I need a guide on life. Like, what do I do next? We kind of have to figure that out. And when you start surrounding yourself with the right people, the right energy, those individuals that want to see you grow and heal and just do well, you know you're in the right place. And that solid advice, no one could tell you what to do with your life. Oh, you should do this. It shouldn't sound like that. It should be like, well, have you tried this? I found this worked for me. It's sharing those stories. It's so valuable. Because a lot of the times you're going to hear people say, no, I haven't, or they're going to say, yes, I have, and it didn't work. Okay, well, have you tried that? Don't quit on yourself, guys. Just don't quit. Never quit exploring. Never quit that journey of finding something that helps you heal. I never realized that the water would be so therapeutic for me. I always knew I loved the water. So, like Chief said it a little earlier, you know, have you found what works for you? And it wasn't until I got a little bit older and life started happening that I found myself gravitating to the coast, to the water's edge, because that's where I found my calm. So for me, that's it, the quiet, the calm, and just taking that all in. That's my grounding. And then, of course, music too. But again, there's so many different routes that you can take. I've heard people say that, spend time with horses because that's so therapeutic. That's not something I've tried, but I'd be open to trying because at the end of the day, hey, let's go. Let's build on this healing and find other alternatives because there is no just one answer. There are many answers. You just got to tap into it. And don't forget to breathe.
Yeah, that's the most important. You know what time it is?
I know what time it is. Do you guys know what time it is? I got to feel this vibe.
I had to use one so that we don't get in trouble for copyright infringement.
I got this feeling.
Let's go.
It
I
goes
got
up
to warm up my shoulders.
and I'm turning on. All through my city,
And the hips.
all through my home.
Beanie weenies.
No ceiling when
Beanie
we're
weenies.
gone. I got that sunshine in my pocket. I got that good soul in my feet. Feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, can't take my eyes up off it. Moving so phenomenally. I'm knocked away, we rock it. So don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance,
I
dance.
don't like this version as much, I got to say.
You dance, dance.
I honestly don't like either version.
Well, the other one gives me a little more pep in my step. And you see how it's not working for me today, guys. You usually see me very animated when I play the song. I can't today. I'm not there. Lots
Yeah,
of
that's
tech issues this morning and it got me in a funk. So I got to go unfunk myself. I should make a t-shirt that says that actually. Unfunk yourself. I plan to do that when I get off this live, go for a walk with my dog. But thank you. And I hope you all do something for you today. This is going to be a shorter live. Do something for you today that kind of replenishes your cup. I know I need it. How about you, Chief?
yes, I need it. I do. But you know what? I think of you all throughout the day, and there's a bunch of you that we talk on the phone periodically
Hmm.
almost every day. So I lean in on that. And I think that's it because so many of us feel alone, and we have amazing people in our lives that we could reach out to. Use it.
Yeah.
It's not using someone. You're not using them if you're providing value in their life. And I think the
Hmm.
way to do that is just by being genuinely the best you that you can be. And I think the better you are, that really does lift other people up. It really elevates other people. Like they say, the rising tide lifts all ships. I think that when you're being the best you, that makes everybody around you want to be a little bit better, es- certainly in your presence and if they
Absolutely.
and I really believe that if they can't be, they won't be there for very long anyways. You know, they'll try, but they gotta work a little harder, a little longer, and it just comes natural with the right people. You know, we see it, we can feel it. We all have met someone and you instantly had that chemistry and you're like, "Oh man, did we just become best friends?" Yup. Like Dustin and I. You just feel it. The Frizzard
Yeah.
and I. Frizz. You feel it. 4 points. Chris, we all know.
Yeah.
We know.
We've met some amazing people and they continue to show up for each other, which is so awesome. I actually thought this morning in one of our group chats from our veterans meetup, and I was just kind of really happy because I don't think I posted anything in there yesterday. I was like, this is amazing. I love that they're still communicating with each other because that's what it's about. They're checking in on each other, and that's what it's about. At the end of the day, check in on your friends, check in with yourself, and make sure that you're reaching out as well. Have those conversations, make those phone calls. They're so important, guys. There's so much value there. You know, we don't got to do this alone. We really don't have to do this alone. It's hard. Life is hard, and stay busy, stay happy busy, you know, do the things you enjoy, distract your mind from what's going on, get away from those negative conversations. We know what's happening, but you got to take care of you at the end of the day. Do what makes you happy today. Do something for you this weekend. I'm going apple picking this afternoon and I can't wait. I cannot wait to go apple picking with my daughter, making some apple crisp. I can't wait to get out on the water. That's what I have right now, set my intentions on. And, you know, like you said, Chief, manifest it. Manifest it all. I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to go do this. And if it doesn't work out the way I wanted, it's okay. I'm going to find something else and I'm going to keep trying to refill my cup because it really is that important.
If
Um, Go
if
ahead.
nothing else, let today serve as a reminder that we can change the trajectory of our day at any time. If I would
Hmm.
continue based off the trajectory of my morning, I would have had a really shitty day. But here we are, we're talking about it, we're surrounded virtually by amazing people, and I
Yeah, we
feel
are.
a lot better. And so, absolutely, get out there, and you're all gonna have an amazing day. That's what's gonna happen. If you're here, you're feeling that energy, you're in the right place at the right time. Washa, washa.
That's right. Washa washa all day, every day. If you don't know what washa washa means, light it up. Let's go. Light up your day. Be the light, by the way. Be the light in someone's day. I had mentioned this earlier in the week. Be the light, guys. Someone's out there looking for some light. Sometimes they forgot they have it within them. You're going to help them shine, and then you can both shine through. Let's go and grow and build the community and lift others up because this world needs more of that. Practice some kindness. Practice some kindness. There's a lot of ugly going on in our world, and you can be that difference. You can be the difference. Lead the way. Lead in love always. I don't have too much else, Chief. You know, take care of all of yous. We should be back next weekend, next Saturday for Coffee Talk. TikTok's not allowing us to stream over there. So it is what it is. Here we are on our YouTube channel. So continue to follow us. Please check out our individual websites, sunnysideoffreedom.net, 420chief.net, and our nonprofit breakstigmas.com. We have a lot of wonderful things planned for this upcoming year. So tune in and stay tuned. Much love to all of you. And thank you for being here.
And TikTok, go yourself.
Anything else, Chief?
I was gonna play a little Soul Shine. I know we're not gonna get in trouble for this one because this is Warren Haynes' version.
Okay.
Yeah. You said shine. I got the
Mm-hmm.
heart vibes going. You said light. Soul Shine. Here we are. Kick the weekend's ass. We got this.
Every day.
you find the light to guide you through a cloudy day. When the stars ain't shining bright, it feels like you lost your way. When the candle lights of home burn so very far away, yeah, you got to let your soul shine. Just like my daddy used to say, soul shine. It's better than sunshine. It's better than moonshine. It's damn sure better than rain. Well, now people don't mind. We all feel this way sometimes. Got to let your soul shine. Shine till the break of day.
Love your face.
I grew up thinking that I had it made. Gonna make it on my own. Life can take the strongest man, make him feel so alone.
Such a great
Now
song.
and then I feel a cold
Sure is.
blowing.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining. I needed this morning, actually. So I'm really glad that we didn't let these technical issues prevent us from vibing out real quick.
That's right.
Talk out there. Episode 41.
I know.
And sunshine.
Wow.
I know it's better than moonshine. Damn sure better than rain. People now don't you mind? We all get this way sometime. You gotta let your soul shine. Shine till the break of day. Sometimes a man can feel this emptiness, like a woman has robbed him of his very soul. Well, a woman too, God knows, she can feel like this. And when the world seems cold, you gotta let your spirit take control. That's what I tell you.
All right. We better get out of here. I got to pack up my kids, y'all. Heading to Nana's,
Mhm.
practice breathing, do things that you enjoy doing, and reach out if you need some help. Never alone.
Much love, y'all. Thank you for joining us.